Good evening, welcome. I'd like to call to order the Colts Neck Board of Education meeting tonight, July 31st, 2024, being held at 70 Conover Road at the Administration Building. Vince, may I please have a roll call?
Yes, you may. Mrs. Denoyan.
Here.
Mrs. Dillon. Not present. Mrs. Dimes.
Here.
Mr. Rico.
Here.
Mrs. Ramirez. Not present. Mr. Rignetta.
Here.
Mrs. Volpe.
Here.
Mr. Walsh.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, this meeting has been duly advertised in the Asbury Park Press in a schedule of meetings dated January 11th, 2024, notice of which has been filed with the Deputy Clerk of Colts Neck Township, and the requirements of posting of notices have been met. We have a please stand for the flag salute. It's behind you in the back. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mrs. Dimes, would you like to read the missing statement?
I would love to, thank you. The mission of the Colts Neck Township Schools is to empower and inspire students to be confident, creative, self-sufficient learners who maximize their strengths and talents and contribute as responsible participants in their ever-expanding world.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I have a motion to move the minutes from May 7th?
Motion. Second.
Okay. Jason, second. Allison.
Any questions and comments about the minutes? Okay. Vince, can I have a roll call for minutes?
Yes, you may. Mrs. Denoya.
Yes.
Mrs. Dimes.
Yes.
Mr. Rico.
Yes.
Mr. Rignetta.
Yes.
Mrs. Volpe.
Yes.
Mr. Walsh.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion carried.
At this time, I'm going to read President Jessica Ramirez's President's Report. Good evening, everyone. I hope you are enjoying your summer and the warm weather. Tonight, we continue the important task of filling the vacancy on our board. I extend a warm welcome and heartfelt thanks to all the candidates for their willingness to serve. Following tonight's interviews, the board president, or vice president, will be communicating, the board president, Jessica, will be communicating with each board member individually. We will notify the candidates of our decision by email with the official appointment to take place at our next board meeting on August 14th. This will satisfy the bylaw requirements we have been following. Outside of addressing this important vacancy, it has been a relatively quiet time, as reflected in our agenda tonight. Rest assured, as we move into August, we have plenty of meetings scheduled and are diligently preparing for the 2024-2025 school year. I hope everyone continues to have a safe and happy summer, and that concludes the Vice President report. All right, move on to the committee reports. All right. Buildings and grounds, yep.
So we have a tour August 5th from 6 to 8. I'm going to get an update up in person. The update on the energy saving infrastructure project, ESIP. Dr. Garibay was kind to extend an invitation with our facility director. So I'm going to get an update along with other board members and see the progress. So I can report back to the board and the community. And that's it.
All right, thank you. Any questions or comments for that, for Kevin? Okay. Communications Committee, that's me. Yesterday we had a pretty productive meeting with Dr. Garibay and Amy was there and Phil. Mm-hmm. And we're going to do make sure updates to our website. Specifically for hopefully next school year, we'll have a nice update to the website and our app and our messaging system to everybody. Hopefully by next school year, we'll be able to alert everybody through text messages, anything important that happens pertaining to school closures and stuff like that, any school emergencies. And as of right now, I saw today that Phil, he updated our website to include on each of the schools' website, which it was just on our main school website, but it's now on each school's website, a link to the Rubicon for the curriculum. So it'd be easier to find if you have any questions or concerns about the curriculum and see what your child's going to be learning in the next school year. You can now go to that easier on each of the school's website. Any questions or comments? Amy, did you have anything else to add?
I have a question. Have you solicited feedback from parents regarding the app and what they would like to see?
Not yet.
No, I think the first step is we're going to start looking at different website companies.
Yeah.
So Phil had a list of about 5.
Yeah.
That other districts use, so we're going to look at their presentations. Some of them do have apps that integrate with it, and then messaging systems that also.
Yes, one of the
integrate.
companies was very good in be able to do the website, the messaging system, and the school app as well, too.
Yeah, so I think because it's not really until next school year.
Yes, it won't be until the next budget goes through. So.
The only thing to add is we did talk about, too, the microphone system.
Yes, we did, yes.
Also having some additional feedback from different companies
Sure.
of how we could add so that the live stream is a little bit more
Yeah.
efficient in terms of sound.
And different prices regarding that as well.
Mhm.
Seeing what's the most efficient, what's the most cost effective at the same time. So. Okay. All right. Moving on to curriculum, that's Jessica. She's not here.
We haven't met.
Sorry?
We haven't met.
They haven't met. Okay. Finance, Jason?
Yeah, so I just wanted to mention, nothing really to report, except for the fact that I'm well aware that the cold snack taxes have gone up. And I just want to make it very clear that as a board and the finance committee, we're very proud that we were able to do a zero tax impact to the taxpayers of cold snack.
As far as we're concerned.
Yes, yes.
Our share.
So as far as we're concerned, obviously, I can't control the state of New Jersey and Governor Murphy, and I can't control, obviously, the committee township
And we
members.
can't
So-
control
Right.
the high school.
The high school, correct. So we did have a zero tax impact this year for our schools, our district.
All right. Any more comments or questions for Jason?
May I add something?
Sure.
So I know that yesterday, as kind of like a touching base,
Yeah.
Mr. Arrico and Mrs. Ramirez met with Mr. Marasco for some of the review of the finances. And I know that in the update, you'll find the school board's understanding school finances and so on as like a refresher for everyone. It's something that we all get. So I just wanted to mention that happened as well, too. And
Yes.
you'll see a little review of that on that, so which is good.
Policy, Jessica just wanted me to state that they will be meeting on August 12th at noon to discuss several policies, and they're working on having legal present to answer any questions about these policies. Advocacy, any questions or comments? But I don't know if I could really answer that. All right. Advocacy and government relations.
Okay, I have a couple things to report. Obviously, the legislature's on summer recess, so it's been a little bit quiet. But I do want to report that at the New Jersey State Board meeting on July 10th, the Vice President, Andrew Mulvihill, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, was replaced recently. He served honorably since 2011 and was an advocate for parental rights and spoke against inappropriate curriculum and many other detrimental issues that our public school faces. So I was very sad that Governor Murphy replaced him. Now we have 10 out of 13 state board members who have a history of standing in the way of parental rights and who support social agendas, which I'm very against. And I do feel that they're ruining the public school system as we know it. Governor Murphy nominated Claudine Keenan to replace him, and I'm going to follow closely what her voting record would be in the future. Governor Murphy has definitely targeted the members of the state board that have been vocal and have been a champion of parental rights, and clearly has been replacing them with people that are eager to put social agendas in front of academic achievements. So, when November comes, I sincerely hope that everybody in this room looks at who they're going to vote for, assembly people across the state, and take into consideration the changes that have happened this year in our school system. The next thing, Governor Murphy also recently signed legislation that authorizes Board of Eds to enter into extended contracts and lease terms for electric school buses. I can't see that being a good thing, let alone being a safe thing in light of all the issues with electric vehicles on the road today. I'm hopeful that school districts will stay clear of any electric vehicles and definitely don't sign long-term contracts with them. Touching base on the Freedom to Read Act, it has moved out of committee. soon as, things, move to the floor, I'll report back. And briefly, I don't know too much about this, it was just brought to my attention recently. In light of all the tax changes that Governor Murphy, put into districts across the state, and us being hit hard, Marlboro being hit hard, Tom's River, I'm actually proud of their Board of Ed. They have filed a lawsuit against the state and Governor Murphy in light of the tax hikes, and I believe Jackson will be following suit as well. So I'm proud of those board members that are going to stand up to the governor, and hopefully we'll rectify this in some way where it's not hurting our children. And that is it.
Thank you. There's a lot going on even though it's summer.
Yes, a lot going on, definitely.
Any questions or comments for Angelique? Okay. All right, ad hoc committee for the arts and sports and extracurricular activities, that's me. Nothing to report right now, but I do want to say hi to Mr. Brown. Good to see you. I don't know if I got the chance to tell you all the great things that you did this year, especially with the 8th grade graduation. It was very nice. Thank you so much for all your hard work. Thank you. Okay. Board member liaisons, Brenda Dillon, Parent Advisory Committee, she is not here. Amy Jimes, Cold Snack PTO.
Nothing to report today.
All right. Let's see. Coachip Township Committee. We have pickleball on Mondays and Tuesdays starting August 5th. I just want to announce, we do have a new police new police chief in Cold Snack, Officer DeVito. He's doing well and settling in fine. The National Night Out is August 6th from 5 to 8 p.m. at Bucks Mill Park. And it's a free event, so all come out. And Cold Snack Sounds of Summer concerts. Tomorrow there's a concert, and August 8th, August 15th, and August 29th is the last one. State and county school boards, Angelique? Anything?
Yes, just a couple things. The Monmouth County School Boards have just released this year's meeting schedule. The first one will be on October 1st at 6 p.m. I'm happy to report again that it will be at the Cold Snack Inn, and I will be attending that meeting, and I appreciate them once again choosing the Cold Snack Inn and supporting our local businesses here in Cold Snack. The next one will be December 5th. I attended that last year as well, and that will be at the Howell Middle School. And the third one is February 4th, and that one will be virtual. I'll continue to report anything significant from those. And lastly, this is important for us, the New Jersey School Board's putting out the virtual mandated training for us. So since I'm a newer member, I'll be doing the governance too, and I know a lot of us will have to do that. So that'll be on Monday, September 16th, from 7 to 9. Actually, they're offering 2, 3, and 4, governance 2, 3, and 4 on that night. And Wednesday, November 13th, will be the alternate day, again, 7 to 9 for those 3 training dates.
And again, that'll be virtual.
That'll be virtual, and I believe we're going to go through Vince again to set those up, like last time, our initial ones. So, so I encourage everybody to get in early if they want the September date to get it over with. And luckily, we won't be going away for 3 days this time. So that's it.
All right. Any questions or comments for Angelique? No? Okay. Kevin, Cold Snack Township.
No,
Senior
nothing to
Assistant.
report, Steve, so.
Okay. Brings us to Superintendent's report.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Agneta. I just want to give a big shout out to the staff and students and parents for a really successful summer bridge program. It ended last week. We had one of our highest attendance rate consistently for the 3 weeks, and even in our last week with over 100 kids attending in that last week. So it was a big success. I think one of the highlights for me was, just the excitement and the students coming back, the consistency, and then of course the performances the last day, which included instrumental performances that had alumni, like one of our student liaisons who came back and helped assist with some of the younger musicians playing with them. And then we also had a musical performance of Finding Nemo Jr., which was also just adorable and spectacular. So kudos to all the staff involved and all the parents who committed to getting everybody here, and of course our students who came and had a really great program. So it's the 4th year of the program, and I think it just keeps continuing to get better and better every year. So just want to thank the board for always supporting that, and just a really great thing for our community. Cold Snack Summer Camp ends next week, As you've noticed, things are going on, and the facilities tour will take place Monday. You'll see in walking the buildings, there's been a lot of removals, a lot of movement, equipment going and whatnot, and then once camp is no longer there, we'll be moving forward with our full-blown cleaning of our schools and ready for September, which will be here before we know it. So that's one of the things as well. Next week, I'll be sending out probably a bridge short, just a midsummer check-in to our families and parents. To just say, where are we? How's the summer going? And here are some important things, on the website, registrations, making sure that if you're new to the district, you're getting all the information that you're needing, the orientation schedules. Tonight we're approving amended calendars that include back-to-school nights, as well as some orientations that are on there. That'll be posted to the website. That link will be there as well. And then I just wanted to reiterate what Mr. Rugnetta said about our National Night Out. Our Colts Neck Police Department and Colts Neck Local PBA 333, sponsored by the Colts Neck Alliance, puts on a really, really wonderful program on Tuesday. So we've been promoting it with the police department as well. So we hope everyone's able to join us for that night.
Doc, where's that located? Is it?
Bucks Mill Park.
Okay.
Bucks Mill Park. And that concludes my superintendent's report.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Please note information items 1 and 2 on the agenda. At this time, I'd like to open up the floor for attending constituents. If you guys have anything you'd like to bring forward to the board tonight, just remember to please state your name and address for the record. Okay, I see none, so at this time I will close the comments from the public. All right, moving on to action items. Motion for action items 1 to 3.
Motion.
Chief? Need a second?
Second.
Kevin?
Any questions or comments about the action items? Okay, seeing none, Vince, can I get a roll call, please?
Yes, on superintendent action items 1 through 3, Mrs. Denoya,
Yes.
Mrs. Dimes,
Yes.
Mr. Rico,
Yes.
Mr. Rugnetta,
Yes.
Mrs. Volpe,
Yes.
Mr. Walsh.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried.
Moving on to curriculum, items 1 through 4.
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Can I get a roll call, Vince, please?
Yes, curriculum and instruction items 1 through 4, Mrs. Denoya,
Yes.
Mrs. Dimes,
Yes.
Mr. Rico,
Yes.
Mr. Rugnetta,
Yes.
Mrs. Volpe,
Yes.
Mr. Walsh.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Finance items 1 through 10.
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All right, roll call, Vince, please.
Yes, finance items 1 through 10. Mrs. Denoya,
Yes.
Mrs. Dimes,
Yes.
Mr. Rico,
Yes.
Mr. Rugnetta,
Yes.
Mrs. Volpe,
Yes.
Mr. Walsh.
Yes.
Motion passed.
And personnel items 1 through 7.
Motion.
Second.
All right, any questions or comments?
Yes. I'd like to say administratively, there was a bold revised agenda posted. It was quickly revised that contained an agenda item number 8 that was administratively removed because it was not intended for this agenda. So I just want to make that aware. So that's why and the board received that bold revised as well. So that's why it was reposted without it and then resent. So that was an administrative retract.
Yes, and is most likely going to be on the next agenda.
Most likely, yes.
Okay. Vince, can I get a roll call?
Yes, on personnel items 1 through 7. Mrs. Denoya,
Yes.
Mrs. Dimes,
Yes.
Mr. Rico,
Yes.
Mr. Rugnetta,
Yes.
Mrs. Volpe,
Yes.
and Mr. Walsh.
Yes.
Okay, the motion carried.
At this time, we're going to take a short recess before our interview process.
Okay, about 5 minutes.
About 5 minutes. Thank you, guys.
can
yeah?
stay here, yeah, you can stay
Oh, you
there.
want me to stay here?
Yep, I just need one of your chairs, that's all. Because we're gonna move me, Vince, over down, okay?
But do you want to separate me from the three?
Nope, so you can record. You're gonna sit down. It's all good. You guys can stay exactly where you are.
Yep.
All right.
Put these three tabs on or something?
Yep, I'm gonna move. We're gonna move you. All right, we're gonna come down.
Like, I think Coach Justin asked me to see them. Well, no, I guess, yeah, Mary Jane or.
First of all, welcome, Kevin Walsh.
Hey, I should have assumed you were here to interview.
Sorry.
Get out of the way.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, Phil's camera. Hello, Phil's
Yeah, it is. I was gonna say.
All right. All right. At this time, we're going to reconvene. Thank you, guys. Mr. Marasco, if you just make a note that Jason Jericho is no longer part of the quorum.
Yes.
All right, I'd like to extend my welcome to the candidates today. I wish everyone good luck. And I'd just like to add that I have been in your shoes before twice, as soon as a year and a half ago. And now we're on the completely opposite end of that, complete 180. So just take your time, relax, and don't worry. Don't worry. Okay. I'd like introduction, just tell us a little bit about yourself, including your background and why you guys are interested in serving on the board. Ms. Cameron, you go first.
Sure. My name is Phyllis Camera. I'm a mother of 4 beautiful children who have been in this district since preschool. My oldest now are in high school. I'm a teacher. I work for the Manalapan Englishtown Regional School District for over 20 years. As many of you know, my husband was John Camera, the Board of Education President, and part of why I'm here is to hopefully continue his legacy and his vision for this board and work with my fellow board members. I also am a parental advocate. I've gone to Trenton. I've gone to other board meetings. I believe in parents' rights and an advocate for our students. And let's see. I also work on various campaigns around the state. So I do some writing and some campaign work as well.
Mr. Giovanni?
First, let me extend my sincere and heartfelt condolences
Thank you.
on
I
Melissa
really
Osment.
appreciate that. Thank you.
My background is basically law enforcement. For 25 years, I was the chief of the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, the chief of the Governor's Construction Strike Force, and the chief integrity monitor at Ground Zero after the attack at the World Trade Center. In addition to my law enforcement background, once I retired, I went into private industry, and I worked with some of the biggest law firms in the city of New York, working on projects on behalf of their clients. And during that time period, I've learned a lot with respect to the private side. After 25 years, you think you know what's going on, but you realize that the private side is so much more, including working as part of a strike force once the U.S. Attorney's Office had indicted members of the Board of Education for antitrust violations. And so my job was to oversee the food vendors that were part of this issue and to monitor their activities until they could find new vendors to supply food for the schools and the children. In addition to that, I've worked and am working in higher education with president of a college and some of the issues that she's having with respect to board members and how best to proceed going forward. So it's a combination of private and public experience, and the reason that I am running is because I was also a member of the Knights of Columbus, and I was their Grand Knight up until July of this year, when my term expired. My focus was the children, working with children with special needs, working with children Special Olympics, and in May, I received an award from the State Council with respect to my work with that. And you realize how important it is to make sure that the curriculum that is being offered by a particular school district, whether it's a college, school district, is so important to the children and the taxpayers, and especially here in Colts Neck. And so I'll share a quick story with you, and I apologize if I'm taking too much time. So at one of the meetings with the special needs parents, we were talking, and she said she was from the state of Virginia. And I says, what brought you to New Jersey? And she said, I have a special needs son and a son that's challenged. And the school districts in the state of Virginia were not giving me or my children what we needed. And so she says, I researched different states on what state would give her children the best education with respect to curriculum. And I know I keep repeating that, but that is the main focus of my approach if in fact I get on the board. And so what happened was, she said to me, I wasn't sure where I was going to go, and then we picked New Jersey, Monmouth County in particular. And now, 2 years later, the son who was nonverbal is now verbal because of the hard work of the teachers and the hard work of the board and the hard work of the school districts. And that's why I'm running. I want to make sure that we can extend that to every parent, every child, every taxpayer in this township. Thank you.
My name is Rich Wickberg, project manager at my family's construction company, Wickberg Marine Contracting. We're a small family-owned business. We've been around for 50 years. I grew up in North Howell, went to Colts Neck High School. That's where I met my wife my sophomore year. I played baseball there with Anthony DeSclafani. I don't know if anybody ever was a major league pitcher. After that, I went to Rutgers in Newark for an accounting degree. I'm a father of 3 girls, 2 of them which are going into 1st and 2nd grade here. My 3rd is going to be entering in the next couple years. I've participated in a few volunteer organizations in the town. Someone Special Needs You. I've also helped out at Brandywine Assisted Living for a number of years. And I'm also the girls rec basketball coach here for 1st and 2nd grade. And it's been one of the greatest things that I did was the coach. Just seeing these young girls' faces when you come in, they don't really know you at first. They're a little hesitant. Throughout the season, you watch them grow. Some of these girls really couldn't dribble too well, couldn't shoot, and then by the end of the season, it's amazing to see how far they come, and to see when they come up to you and they're just so excited to see you. It was a really great experience. I'm for parental rights. I think every school district around here needs to have transparency, 100%. If a school can't tell you what they're teaching their kids, it's really, I think it's a big problem. They should
They should be telling you what's going on behind the doors.
I think that Colts Neck is known for having wonderful schools. I moved here, my parents are moving here, my best friend since I was a child, he just moved here, his kids are in school, my cousin just moved here. Everybody moves here because of the school system. And my goal, if I'm elected to be on here, is to keep Colts Neck a model of what a school system should look like. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to the next question. And this question you guys might have answered it a little bit in your first answer. But if you can provide us with any history of specific involvement you've had with the Colts Neck School District, or any level of involvement you've had with the Colts Neck community as a whole. Mr. Woodard, I'll go back to you.
Yeah, so I participated at the Brandywine Assisted Living for 2 years. We helped organize crafts and play games. And did that. Someone Special Needs You through at the church. I did that for a couple of years. I did that one with my wife. I've also basketball coach. I was the basketball coach. Sorry. Yeah, I've done that. That was last year was my first year doing it. I'm gonna do it next year because, like I said, that was probably one of the greatest things I ever did.
All right. Mr. Trishman?
I was fortunate enough, as I indicated, that I was the Grand Knight for the Knights of Columbus. And part of the activities that we were involved in, that I specifically spearheaded, was our ability to help women who were abused by their spouse. And so there's a program called 180 Turnaround. Our focus was to collect clothing for the women, new clothing with tags on it, and to also collect toys, especially during the Christmas season, for the children that are the victims as well. In addition to that, we, the Knights and community activists, worked with, as I indicated before, special needs and the Special Olympics as well.
when my children are very young, my daughters, we started here when they were in preschool. I've been here for a while. I was fortunate enough to be their Girl Scout leader for a few years while they were involved in that. And as a teacher, I have done a lot with intervention, especially with mostly with tutoring on the side and math intervention for students who are struggling. Two of my children, when they were younger, had IEPs. One still does, the other one no longer does. So I'm very involved with special education needs. I'm just taking a few notes. I've attended the Lions Club, the Pancake Breakfast, and I just love that organization. My mother is partially blind, and that organization creates braille trails and works for people who are, promotes visual, they come to the schools, they give free eye testing, so they do a lot of just wonderful things for our community and other communities as well. And like I said, I have gone to other school districts, I've advocated for students in this district, I've advocated mostly for our 3rd through 5th graders to have the entire math program. There are math workbooks that they do not have that I have come to meetings and I've spoken about, and it was told to me that the parents can just print out copies, so that's something I'd really like to make sure that our 3rd through 5th grade students have the Pearson resources. But I've attended different meetings throughout the state and Trenton, mostly again for parental rights and advocating for our students.
Thank you. Okay, what issues do you view as being of greatest importance to the district in the next year? What do you see as the district's greatest challenge in the next few years? If you guys need me to repeat.
Can you repeat that challenge?
What issues do you view as being the greatest importance with the district within the next year? And what do you see as the district's greatest challenge within the next year or so? District's greatest challenge?
The biggest challenge I see is parental rights. My granddaughter, I have 3 granddaughters and they go to school in Homedale. And a teacher approached my oldest granddaughter, who is 10 years old. And because she had a short haircut, she wanted to know if she was a boy or a girl. And so my granddaughter said, I'm a girl. But the teacher didn't stop at that. She approached my granddaughter a second time. Are you sure you're a boy or a girl? So I said to my daughter, you need to go up and speak to the superintendent because somebody is trying to pressure my granddaughter into maybe making a statement that she'll regret later, and that the school might not notify you that there's an issue here with the teacher, what they're trying to accomplish. And because the state has now taken this position with kind of voiding parental rights, she went up to the superintendent and put them on notice that if that teacher approaches my granddaughter another time, that there would be some type of legal action. So I'm concerned about that, and I'm sure that that's an issue here at Colts Neck as well.
Thank you. Mr. Rickman?
I completely agree. Parental rights. I believe that it's vital for every parent to have complete transparency when it comes to every aspect of your child's education. The town board has done an excellent job of making sure that's happening. I would also say that a concern of mine would be bullying, because I know when my kids, they come home on the bus, they tell you that from an early age, kids are their sponges. Somebody says the wrong thing to them, they take it to heart, and you see them come off the bus a couple times, they're crying, and I think it's a challenge. I think something we got to look into.
Mrs. Scott?
Thank you. So the most important issue to me is really going back to that focus on fundamentals and academics. Really getting our schools to a blue ribbon status, which is showing academic excellence. It's the collaboration of hard work between educators, families, communities, making sure our schools are safe and welcoming, that our students are challenged and yet engaged, and of course balancing, traditional teaching with the Chromebook usage and making sure that we are not too reliant on technology. In terms of some challenges, it's very similar. It's really the social agenda that's coming from the state and what we can do to make sure, again, that our conservative values stay in our schools. We have the NJEA that promotes Drag Queen Story Hour, and we have, as you mentioned, we were able to abolish, I don't know if you know, in this town, policy 5756, which is what you were talking about, with keeping secrets against parents. So we want to I think that's the biggest challenge is the balance and making sure that we are able to stay unified and be able to react to what's happening in Trenton in a way that is best for our district and our students and our values.
Thank you. Piggybacking on that question, what qualities and characteristics would you bring to tackling those problems? I'll go back to Ms. Scanlon.
Okay. Well, first is getting involved, and thank you again to Angelique, who is really always letting us know what's happening in Trenton. I have written letters before, I have made phone calls, I have spoken with senators, and that's the first step. I've come here during when our children were masked during COVID, and at that point, we and many parents were begging the former board to just write Governor Murphy a letter saying, we want local control. So obviously advocating for local control will help these challenging issues that are coming from the state. And in terms of what I feel is really important with the academics is making sure that we are funded for before care programs, after care programs, in terms of tutoring and small group instruction, making sure we have a very strong tier program, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, in terms of giving students what they need, and possibly more and more support, starting with the classroom teacher and then pull-out teachers, et cetera. So that kind of goes with the importance of that focusing on fundamentals.
Thank you. Mr.
And I understand the fundamentals as well. I am licensed as a substitute teacher, and I've taught in the classroom, and I understand exactly what Phyllis is saying. It's important that the teachers have the necessary tools to educate our children, because as they move forward, they are the backbone of this country. And if we don't give them all the tools, and the curriculum is not a strong curriculum, we do a disservice to our children and to the township. And that's why my main focus is going to be, again, and I know I keep repeating myself, is curriculum. We must make sure that the children have everything they need with respect to moving forward in a very competitive world once they graduate high school and beyond.
Thank you. Ms. Whitmer.
I'd say vote. Colts kids first. Pretty much nailed it on all their issues. Other than that, just being a strong parent to try to raise your kids to be as tough and as open-minded as they can be. To not take things so seriously. My one daughter, she's a perfectionist. She's very smart, but if a teacher tells her something that she might have missed a question, it's tough. But we got to raise our kids to be as mentally tough as possible, because it's tough out there. It's challenging.
And what do you feel is the singular most important duty of a board member? Mr. Chisholm?
The most important thing for a board member to remember is that we are not a silo. We must act as a team. Our authority comes from the board and not from an individual who wants to promote maybe his or her agenda first. It is the board's responsibility, and the power comes from the board. And we, as board, I'm premature when I say we, board members must act as one in order to get approval for what we need, whether it's curriculum, whether it's changes at the level in Trenton, whether it's local authority to move forward with particular programs and to basically say to the state, when the board feels that it's wrong, no, we're not going to move forward on this. We might wind up in litigation, but sometimes you need to take a firm stance with respect to issues when you disagree with them.
Thank you. Mr. Whitford?
Yes, I agree. The board, its power lies within everybody here. It's not just one person, as you said. I work with the Department of Transportation, I work with the EPA, I work with other government municipalities. One thing I've learned with working with all those organizations is that, it's not just one person making a decision. There's not just a second person. That person has a board that they have to answer to. And it's a chain. You're not gonna make everybody happy. It's not everybody's gonna agree with you, and you just gotta move.
Thank you. Mrs. Cameron?
So I agree with the collaboration and the teamwork and working as a whole. I think as a board member, the principles of transparency are so important, which is why I'm so proud that this particular board was able to get our meetings live streamed. That's something new. We have a fiscal responsibility to the taxpayers. It is very common for all administration to just want to grow the budget and hire new positions, and you need a board that is willing to also consider, that families are being hit very hard right now financially, and how do we balance providing the best education also with fiscal responsibility. Again, our job is to advocate for parental rights. It is to listen to our voters, our constituents, and what their needs are and what they want, and balancing that with what's best for our children, what's recommended by our superintendent.
Thank you. Are you familiar with the time commitment required of a board member? Do you see any potential conflicts with meeting those requirements? Mr. Whitford?
No, I do not. I work sometimes far away. When I was a basketball coach, I had to commute from Cape May to here to come back home to meet those practices, and a 2-hour ride home after a 10-hour day. It's not a problem.
Mrs. Cameron?
I'm very well aware of the commitment, as my husband was doing this for quite a while. I'm fortunate that I have 2 older stepchildren who are willing to come on Wednesdays. I've already given them all the dates as just trying to be positive, as well as just if I want to attend the meetings. So I'm very well aware of the commitment, not only for the meetings, but actually for all the committee meetings as well that go on the side. And so I'm aware of the commitment, and I believe I can do it.
And as I indicated before, I'm doing work at the higher education level, working with the president of the college and also the board. Those meetings sometimes don't start till 7:30, 8 o'clock. So I understand the time commitment, and I understand that it's important that a board member makes that time available. If they're not willing to give 100%, then I question why they're on the board to begin with.
Thank you. Now, are you familiar with the Board of Education's Code of Ethics, and do you commit to upholding these standards if appointed to the board? Mr. Trishabon?
Absolutely. I mean, during my 25 years in law enforcement or on the private side, there were many times where integrity first was the most important thing, because you were dealing with certain individuals, whether they were organized crime individuals, people that were willing to try to corrupt you in some way. And so, yes, it's very important that you make that commitment and that you follow through.
Thank you. Mr. Whitford?
Yeah, I agree. You plan on coming here to be part of this, you got to give it 100%. If you're not in this for 100%, why bother? So.
Mrs. Cameron?
Yes, as well. My reasons echo my competition. But absolutely, I'm aware of the ethical implications. I believe in integrity as well. I I have a understanding of right and wrong as a teacher in a classroom for, again, over 20 years. Ethics are very important, and I intend to follow them.
Thank you. What do you consider the district's greatest strengths? Name a few things, and what do you see there areas that need improvement?
You want me to start?
Yeah. you can-
Okay. Well, first and foremost are our teachers. Again, having 4 students who went through the district, I was very impressed overall, and I really think the relationships that these teachers have built with my children is the most important thing. And from relationships comes a wanting to learn and a love of learning. And so if it really starts with the relationships that these teachers have gone above and beyond. They know their names. The principals come out and greet the children every day. It is just such a warm and welcoming district. The teachers are excited when they come out of the cars. They're smiling. They're greeting everyone. And even if the morning was rough, like, what a wonderful way to start the day with someone smiling at you, saying, "Hey, Jonas, I'm so excited you're here. Come on in." And so our teachers are our greatest strength. Without them, honestly, what would a school be? Moving on from that, another great strength of ours is, actually, I like our curriculum. I'm very happy with the curriculum. I think many of the teachers have spent hours overall writing the curriculum, rewriting the curriculum. We have the most up-to-date math program right now in terms of SAVIS. I know that we went from a district that did not have a strong phonics program when my daughters were there, and that was something that I had also talked about, to a much stronger phonics program. We were more like whole language at that time, and now, so I was happy to see some changes. So the fact that, I guess another strength would be just that our curriculum is always growing and building as more information and research is coming out. So those are some of our strengths. And then you asked for areas of
improvement, and also how you think you'll be able to help improve.
Okay, so where I think the weakness is our students who are struggling, and how do we catch them up? So we have some of the learning loss that happened during COVID, less and less now. We've done a pretty decent job closing the gap. But how do we bring those students, and this is just a challenge for educators in general, what do we provide those students with? Is it more small class sizes? Is it I love where we teach, we do a lot of before and after school programs, so kids aren't pulled out during the day, because obviously some children don't like that. So is it extending the day? Is it before the day in terms of giving them more tutoring, more one-on-one support, more small group support? So it's really just closing those achievement gaps, which I think is a big area of what we're working on, and where you're working on it. I think our safety, because of Kevin, I'm just so happy that you are sort of taking over that responsibility. I feel our children are very safe going to school here. So just going back to another area of importance. So in terms of making improvements, I would definitely just say with our students who are struggling. And my other big thing is Cedar Drive Middle School. The infrastructure there, the gym there. We do need to look into some true improvements for our students. It really is a little embarrassing when you go to the other middle schools and you see the facilities they have and the opportunities. And I know we want to just make sure our facilities are up to where the other districts are as well.
The strength is really with the superintendent, because the message starts at the top, and it works its way down. And it works its way down to the teachers, it works its way down to the students, and that message has to be a strong message from the superintendent. Whether you like her, whether you hate her, that's not the important thing. The most important thing is that she sends a positive message to the school, to the teachers, to the parents, of what the school district is doing. We talk about transparency. That is a key issue on what is being done on behalf of their children. And so, to me, that is a key strength. A weakness, I agree with you with respect to certain programs that need some improvement. As I indicated, I I've been in the classroom, not as extensive as you, and I do see where sometimes children are not receiving all the attention they need, for whatever reason, whether there's a lack of resources or whether the parents, and I've seen this firsthand, whether the parents really are not committed to their children, and especially with special needs. I've seen some parents that whatever the township does, whatever the school does, that's enough. They're not putting them in an after-school program. They're not taking advantage of maybe some programs that the state might avail to, for themselves, to avail themselves of. And so that's an important piece of communication, again, from the top down, to those parents, that they need to take a little bit more active role. Sometimes that's going to be insulting. The parents are not going to appreciate it. But the issue is the children. The children must come first.
Thank you. Mr. Rootberg?
I'd say definite strength, I'd have to mirror off you the teachers. My kids are always in love with their teachers. It's you know, they're amazing. The coaches throughout the team, the sports programs are amazing. They were amazing when I was in the high school. Some of the things I think we should improve on is some of the infrastructure at the schools. I know at the basketball games when we played at the middle school here, I can't tell you how many times that roof was leaking when we were trying to play. Or walking around with paper towels in my hand trying to wipe up all the water on the floor, so just nobody slipped and fell. There's buckets out on the floor. It's embarrassing. Also the turf field, soccer field. Been to many games over there. My daughter plays on the travel team. How many games we sat there next to parents from other towns that are complaining about the 8-foot high fence that's for some ungodly reasons there. And the dirt path that gets back to the soccer field, that kicks up all the dust, it gets pretty wild. You got all the kids that are playing on the playground, playing in games at the fields right there, and they're just getting blasted with dust in the summertime. That's something that needs improvement.
Thank you. Now, being on the board, you of course, be working as a team, and please give examples of working with the team. Some of you have given examples before a little bit, but I'd like more examples about how working as a subordinate versus working as a leadership, in a leadership role, how you juggle that. Give examples of being in the subordinate role, and also if you have examples of being in the leadership role, and how you go about that. Mrs. Cameron?
Okay, well, first and foremost, your family unit is a team, right? Working together, getting lunches made, getting everyone to their different activities, especially if you have children who are involved both in music as well as sports. So then I have my closest 5th grade team, where it's all based on collaboration, working together. We do our lesson plans together, we do our slideshows together, we take turns doing leading different lessons. Then I have my school family team, which is really the whole. And again, just working together where I guess I would be more insubordinate there because, again, the leader would be the principal and I'm just one of the team members, listening and doing what's expected. And then the beauty of having children who are on teams is all those teams become families for you. And so I have Jaden, and because of Jaden, I have relationships on a basketball team, and that team becomes part of my family. And with Jocelyn at cheer, the cheer team becomes part of our family. And so, you are working, you are collaborating, you are constantly helping each other, pick up your children, drop them off. It's communication and working together to relying on people, trusting people with your children, being trusted with other people's children, driving other people's children in the car. There's so many aspects, and I did just want to point out that when you're talking about the turf, that's the Colts Neck Sports Foundation. So that is something also we want to the school should be involved and work together with the Sports Foundation and all those improvements and the town council, because all those suggestions are really important. And so, and that's just part of, being on a team is collaborating, working together, and communicating ideas.
Thank you. Mr. Rickford?
Yeah, she said, I got 3 young kids. My wife, she's the captain of that ship. She runs that show. I listen, I do what I'm told, and it's hard. You gotta shuffle kids around. One person's going here, the other person's going there. It's difficult. At work, I'm in control of about 10 guys at most times, and it's not about me. You gotta take care of everybody. Everybody has their part. Everybody has their role. Everybody knows what they're doing, and everybody just has to understand that.
Mr. Rickford?
At Ground Zero, I had 88 people that reported to me directly, and our function was twofold. One was to make sure that there was no organized crime members on site. 2, that there was a proper cleanup. But more important, we talk about integrity, is to make sure that the workers also got paid the prevailing wage. That was a key focus, to make sure that all the workers received the proper payment for what they did. My focus was to make sure that the federal government got $1 worth of services for every dollar they spent. And almost 25 years later, not one claim against the federal government has been filed by any contractor, worker, vendor, because they received the proper payments. And we worked as a team. All 88 people worked as a team, working with the federal government, state government, and the city government to make sure, 1, no corruption on the site, and 2, again, as I said, people received their proper wages. With respect to being a subordinate, when I moved over to the private side, and you get assignments from a law firm or working for state government, whether it was the Port Authority or the New Jersey Department of Transportation, you are the subordinate. They tell you what they want done, whether you like it or not. It's your job to do it. So I understand both sides of the fence, being a supervisor and having people report to me and respond to me. And also the flip side, being a subordinate, where I'm being told by the state or the federal government, this is what you're going to do, this is how you're going to do it. Even if you disagree with it, you make your opinion known that you think there might be a better way, but the bottom line is they call the shots.
Thank you. And finally, I would just like to ask each of you why you think you should be considered and given the role on the board. Mr. Rickford?
I think I would be a good candidate for this role. I have, like I said, I got 3 girls. 2 are already in the school year. My 3rd's going to be starting in a couple years. I would love the opportunity to be able to strengthen their foundation going into school. This typically isn't my cup of tea. I'll be honest with you, but I would just love to be able to help them in any way I can. Same for the girls I coached. It was really a fantastic opportunity, and if I could help them on the court, I would love to help them in their classrooms too.
Thank you. Mrs. Cameron?
So I believe I can make meaningful contributions to our community's educational landscape. I'm looking a little bit at my letter that I had written. I've been a teacher in the neighboring town. I've gained extensive experience and knowledge in curriculum development and implementation. I have hands-on experience in the classroom, which has given me a deep understanding of challenges and opportunities that educators face daily, as well as parents, because I am a mom first. I'm committed to fostering an environment that we already have of transparency and open communication within the board and the community. I believe that parents should have a voice in their children's education, and I'm dedicated to advocating for the rights and involvement, to the rights of all children and their involvement. I said it before, but fiscal responsibility is also a priority for me. I understand the importance of managing resources wisely to maximize the benefits for our students. I want to be accountable to the taxpayers. And I believe in the principles of transparency, fiscal responsibility, and again, advocating for parental rights.
Thank you. Mr. Trisavani?
As I indicated tonight, I have a diverse background, and I think that diverse background gives me the strengths that I need, not only to be a member of the board, but to work in conjunction with the board to make sure that we, as a board, operating as a single entity, can accomplish what needs to be accomplished for the taxpayers and the students of this township. That's an important function, to be able to work with other people. Some people can do it, some people can't, some people are strong-minded where they think only their opinion is the most important opinion. You can't operate that way. If you want to get something done, you must be able to sit down, hear all the parties, what they say, how they say it, and how best to implement, and finding a way to compromise to make sure that the board does what's best for the students of this township. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you so much. Thank you. You guys all gave wonderful answers. Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming out, and thank you for wanting to be involved in our community and for helping out the kids. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Marasco, Board Administrator, we'll be reaching out to you guys to let you know either way whether you can join us or not. Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
Good luck to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, very nice to meet you.
You deserve it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Yep.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
No, there's more on the agenda.
New business?
Okay, cut. Thank you too.
Motion. Yes.
Kevin?
Roll call to adjourn.
All in favor? Opposed? No? Meeting adjourned.